going to sing a song, just a bit of it, and you sing along with me if you know it. I need you, you need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me, agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. I'll pray for you. You pray for me. I love you. I need you to survive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I love you. I need you to survive. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. That song brings to mind the topic that we're talking about. And I would like to begin with a story. When I was 2 years old, my mother and father took in my 7 cousins. My mother's sister had passed away, and there was no one else to take them in, and my parents made the decision to make the necessary adjustments and sacrifices in their life and bring them into our family. I was 2, and I had 2 older siblings, a brother and a sister. So when they came, we all had to make a lot of adjustments, a lot of strong personalities, a lot of fights. It was wild and crazy, even for a 2-year-old. 2 months later, 2 of my sisters in our family had children, had babies. And 2 years later, 4 years later, 2 years later, I was 2, my mother had another baby. So, of course, we moved a lot. We moved about 3 times to find a house large enough for us to all dwell together in that large community. My father, who had had some previous experience in a large family, had no choice but to develop some strong, strict disciplinary measures so that we could all function. 3 of those things were part of his mantra, and pardon me if I grind my teeth while I say them. The first one was, if you don't respect other people, you don't respect yourself. The second one was, if you see something that needs to be done, do it. The third one was, if something's not done when we get home from work, you all are all in trouble. So we learned how to work well together. We learned where our place was, and we learned how to cope in a very large environment where there was no privacy, everything was shared, and you didn't really get a choice as to whether or not you participated. Everyone was responsible for each other. And so this helped me, first of all, discover in myself an ability or abilities that I didn't realize I had. And as I grew, as I said, in this large family with brothers and sisters leaving one by one, there was still so many people in my home that it really wasn't hard to, continue to grow in that. In my family, it was my responsibility midway to become the babysitter, being the youngest girl. My parents worked very hard to teach us how to work together. We did chores together. We worked my father's garden so that we could all eat. We had a lot of opportunities to really work together to learn how to cope with each other's personality. And so that gave me a real opportunity to learn what it would be like in community and how to practice humanity, though I didn't realize it. It also fuels a lot of who I am today. So they modeled that for me, and I grew in that. And it taught me, like I said, a lot about humanity, those life experiences. What they also taught was the responsibility to transfer what I'd learned in my family to the community, to my neighborhood, to my church family, and at every instance, whatever social circle I was part of. So, what is humanity? Merriam-Webster defines humanity as compassionate, sympathetic, or generous behavior, a behavior or disposition, the quality or state of being humane. That sounds really good, but what does it really mean? The VIA Character Strength Survey says that humanity is a virtue comprised of 3 strengths: love, kindness, and social intelligence. These strengths are evident in interpersonal activities. They are what you do in community, how you view another person or persons in that community. The person who expresses those tendencies is loving and kind, socially conscious, one who shows empathy, sympathy, one who sees the best in others and chooses to seek the good for relatives, neighbors, friends, and strangers because they believe it is the right thing to do. It is the thing that honors a person's humanity, their worth, their meaning, and their significance. They are sensitive to the feelings of others, and they give the benefit of the doubt even if they disagree with others' actions. They work to be sensitive to the needs of others and adjust well in varied social situations. They are caring, good listeners, and make friends easily because they have the ability to make people comfortable and feel a sense of meaning. Did that yes. In essence, humanity is those things, but it's also more. It's the golden rule: do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. And it's also Jesus's first and second greatest commandments. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and all your might, and to learn and love your neighbor as yourself. Now, let me share another philosophy that helps us, that adds to our understanding of humanity. It's promoted by Desmond Tutu and Nelson Mandela, who are South African leaders who led the restoration after apartheid in South Africa. Bishop Desmond Tutu says, this virtue is under the philosophy of I am because we are. I think there's great worth to that, and it talks a lot about this concept. That concept's name is Ubuntu. It is a Nguni Bantu term, and it means humanity, believe it or not. It is often translated as I am because we are. And it is also translated as humanity towards others, and that means, you know, you treat people, again, in the way that you want to be treated. It's important for us to think about what that actually means. And Bishop Desmond Tutu and Nelson Mandela go on to describe it, so I'm going to quote it. Although it's difficult to translate into a Western language, it speaks to the very essence of being human. Ubuntu, when practiced, allows you to be generous, hospitable, friendly, caring, and compassionate, sharing what you have. It helps one to understand that we are connected and our actions affect the world, that my humanity is inextricably bound up in yours. Nelson Mandela adds, it is the profound sense that we are only human through the humanity of others, that we must work together to accomplish anything. As you look at yourselves around this room, you have a visual of what it's like to be connected, to be a part of community. And you have the opportunity to see that as an opportunity to practice Ubuntu, humanity toward one another. It's important to think about that. We are connected as friends, as family, as church members, and as strangers. And this gives us an opportunity to discover the power of what this connection will look like. Is it possible for us to grow in this virtue? Yes. I'm going to tell you just a few things. Practice random acts of kindness. Learn a new way to show someone you love how you feel. Identify someone in your circle or outside your circle who never meets a stranger, who is loving and giving, and watch them, study them, and practice what they do. And volunteer, because that gives you an opportunity to work in your community, to grow and learn and practice giving meaning and service to other people. And if you'd like to discover what that looks like in a really fun manner, you can go see the Black Panther. Just remember that we are stronger together. And for the sake of humanity, remember to practice Ubuntu. Thank you.